A guy pulled into my shop last month towing a jet ski behind a minivan, and I watched 3 people in the parking lot actually laugh at him. Then I popped the hood, saw the engine, and started laughing at them instead. That minivan had 289,000 miles on it and had never seen a transmission rebuild. Meanwhile, the guy who laughed loudest drives a 5-year-old crossover that's already burned through 2 sets of motor mounts. Minivans are the most disrespected vehicles in America. And that disrespect is exactly why you can buy one of these 3 for less than a used Civic with a blown head gasket. Let's get into why nobody wants them and why that's a mistake. Number 3. The Toyota Sienna from 2004 to 2010, specifically the models running the 3.3-liter or 3.5-liter V6. I want to get something out of the way immediately. Yes, this is a minivan. Yes, it has sliding doors and cup holders in places you didn't know cup holders could exist. And yes, it will outlast almost everything else on your street. The second-generation Sienna launched in 2004 with a 3.3-liter V6, producing 230 horsepower. Then Toyota bumped it to a 3.5-liter V6 in 2007, producing 266 horsepower. Both engines are members of the same family Toyota used across the Camry, the Highlander, and even some Lexus models. That means parts availability is excellent. Mechanics know these engines inside and out. And none of the design quirks are a mystery. The 3.5-liter in particular is the 2GR-FE. Chain-driven, naturally aspirated, and honestly one of the most boring engines Toyota has ever built in the best possible way. Boring means predictable. Predictable means it just keeps running. Repair Pal rates the Sienna reliability at 4 out of 5, and minivans as a class tend to post lower annual repair costs than midsize SUVs because the platforms were engineered around family use and long-haul durability rather than sporty handling that stresses suspension components. Average annual repair costs on the Sienna land around $500, which is competitive with anything in the Toyota lineup. I've personally serviced Siennas from this generation past 250,000 miles with nothing more dramatic than a water pump and an alternator. On owner forums, it is not unusual to see people reporting 300,000 to 350,000 miles on the original engine and transmission. And I've had 2 customers personally cross 400,000 with this exact generation. One of them a delivery driver who put mostly highway miles on it. Right now, you can find a 2006 to 2009 Sienna with 130,000 to 160,000 miles for $4,500 to $6,500. Compare that to a same-year Honda Odyssey, which we will get to in a minute, or a Toyota Highlander with similar miles running $9,000 to $11,000 for essentially the same drivetrain in a smaller, less practical body. You are paying less for more room, more towing capacity, and the same bulletproof engineering, purely because the shape of the vehicle does not have curb appeal. When you are shopping, check the all-wheel drive models carefully if you are looking at one, since the AWD system adds complexity and the rear differential fluid needs to be serviced on schedule, or you will shorten its life significantly. On front-wheel drive models, which is the vast majority of what you will find, check for a rattling noise on cold start that clears up after a few seconds. That's usually the exhaust manifold heat shield working loose, a $15 fix, not an engine problem. Inspect the sliding door tracks and power door motors, since these take abuse in family use, and a failing motor runs about $200 to replace. Also, look at the interior for cracked dashboards, a known cosmetic issue in hot climates that does not affect function but is worth negotiating on. This is the minivan for anyone who wants Toyota reliability, does not care about badge status, and needs to move people and cargo for the price of a beater sedan. Number 2. The Honda Odyssey from 2011 to 2013 with the J35A8 V6. This is the generation Honda got right after ironing out transmission issues that plagued earlier Odysseys, and it is arguably the most underrated used vehicle in the entire Honda lineup. The J35 V6 produces 248 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque, and it belongs to the same engine family found in the Honda Pilot and the Acura MDX, Engines that have built reputations for going 30 years without a major failure when maintained properly. It uses a timing belt, not a chain, which is the one thing you need to budget for. Replacement is due around 100,000 to 105,000 miles and costs $600 to $900, including the water pump, which should always be replaced at the same time. Do that on schedule, and you are looking at another 100,000 trouble-free miles ahead of you. Repair Pal gives the Odyssey a reliability rating of 4 out of 5 as well, with the 2011 to 2013 models specifically benefiting from Honda's engineering focus after some rockier years earlier in the model's history involving transmission failures on 2002 to 2004 units. That's important context. The early 2000s Odysseys earned a rough reputation, and that reputation still haunts the nameplate today, even though Honda fixed the underlying transmission cooling issues years ago. People see Odyssey and remember horror stories from a decade and a half ago, and that memory is exactly why this specific generation is priced so low. A 2012 Odyssey EXL with 110,000 to 130,000 miles is going for $6,000 to $7,500 right now. A comparable Honda Pilot with the same engine and similar mileage runs $11,000 to $14,000 for a vehicle with less interior space and worse fuel economy. I had a customer, a nurse working rotating shifts with 3 kids, buy a 2012 Odyssey with 118,000 miles for $6,800 2 years ago. She is now past 175,000 miles. Total unplanned repairs in that time. A set of rear shocks, and a battery. That is it. The 5-speed automatic in this generation is a Honda unit that has been proven across multiple platforms. And Honda's variable cylinder management system, which shuts down cylinders under light load to save fuel, has largely resolved the early reliability complaints that plagued the feature when it first launched. If you are shopping, verify timing belt service history immediately, since a skipped timing belt on this engine can lead to catastrophic damage if it snaps. Check the second row seats for proper folding function, since the Odyssey's disappearing seat mechanism can develop stiffness with age. And inspect the transmission fluid color and smell just like you would on any high mileage automatic. Clean and pink is good. Dark and burnt means the previous owner neglected service intervals. This is the minivan for families who want the most refined ride in the segment and do not mind budgeting one timing belt service in exchange for near Honda Accord levels of long-term reliability. Number 1. The Kia Sedona from 2015 to 2018 with the 3.3-liter Lambda V6. I put this at the top because it might be the single most disrespected vehicle in the entire used car market right now, full stop. Say the word Kia to most car shoppers and they picture a cheap Econobox from 15 years ago. That reputation is almost entirely outdated, and nowhere is that more obvious than with this generation Sedona. The third generation Sedona, completely redesigned for 2015, runs the same 3.3-liter Lambda 5/6 engine family found in the Hyundai Genesis and the Kia Cadenza. An engine we've talked about before because it shows up all over the Hyundai Kia lineup in vehicles that command far higher prices. It produces 276 horsepower, uses a timing chain instead of a belt, and has none of the rod bearing or oil burning issues associated with the smaller 4-cylinder Theta engines that gave some other Hyundai and Kia models a bad name several years back. Different engine family, different reliability story entirely, and it's worth repeating that distinction every single time because it's the thing that trips up buyers who read one bad headline and assume it applies to everything with the badge. Consumer Reports has rated the redesigned Sedona favorably for reliability compared to other minivans in its class, and owners on forums regularly report crossing 200,000 miles with nothing beyond scheduled maintenance. I've personally worked on a 2016 Sedona with 187,000 miles that came in for a coolant flush, and when I checked everything else over, compression was even across all 6 cylinders, and there wasn't a single oil leak anywhere on the engine. The 6-speed automatic transmission is a conventional unit, no dual clutch complexity, no CVT rubber band feel, just a traditional gearbox that Hyundai Kia has refined across a decade of use in larger vehicles. Here's where the pricing gets genuinely absurd. A 2016 Sedona SX with 90,000 to 110,000 miles is selling for $8,000 to $10,000 right now. When new, that same trim carried a sticker price north of $37,000 fully loaded. You are getting heated and ventilated leather seats, a power lift gate, a panoramic sunroof on higher trims, and a genuinely upscale interior that most people mistake for a vehicle costing twice as much when they sit inside it for the first time. Hyundai and Kia also back their vehicles with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty from the original purchase date. So if you find a lower mileage 2016 or later example, there's a real possibility you're still covered on the engine and transmission, something almost no competitor at this price point can offer. When you're shopping for one, check that routine oil changes have been documented on a consistent interval, since the Lambda V6 rewards regular maintenance and punishes neglect like any engine will. Inspect the second and third row seating mechanisms. Since Kia's removable and reclining rear seats see heavy use in family duty, and the release levers can develop looseness over time, though replacement parts are inexpensive. Test the power sliding doors through a full cycle listening for grinding, which usually points to a worn track roller costing under $100 to fix. And take it on a highway stretch to feel for any vibration through the steering wheel at speed, which on high mileage examples can indicate tires wearing unevenly rather than anything mechanical. This is the minivan for anyone who wants the most feature-packed cabin in the segment, doesn't care what badge is on the tailgate, and wants a decade of potential warranty coverage thrown in as a safety net. So there they are, 3 minivans the market can't stop mocking while quietly running past 300,000 and 400,000 miles without complaint. The Toyota Sienna with an engine family so proven it's basically boring by design. The Honda Odyssey that shook off a reputation from a generation ago and became one of the most refined family haulers you can buy for under $8,000. And the Kia Sedona wearing a badge everyone underestimates while hiding an engine that's earned its reliability credentials in far more expensive vehicles. You now know 3 vehicles that will haul your family, your cargo, and your jet ski farther than most SUVs costing 3 times as much. And nobody at the dealership is going to tell you that. If this kind of straight talk helps you shop smarter, hit subscribe. I've got more videos coming on the vehicles mechanics actually trust. Drive safe, take care of your van, and it'll take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.